Hi everyone, it's Wednesday, September 3rd. This is History of American Education, EDL 629, fall semester 2014. I believe now that Labor Day is over, the full semester has really started. Now I'm convinced that we're back at school, and we had a great first week of this class. We got to know each other, which was really fun, and I hope also that you familiarized yourself with the NICA site and feel comfortable using that site, and hopefully set up a kind of schedule and arrangement in which you can feel comfortable reading and preparing for this class. As I mentioned earlier, all of our main activities will be due on a Wednesday. Most of our main activities will be due on a Wednesday. So every Wednesday I'll be giving you one of these short lectures in which I will introduce the readings for the week and kind of give you some ideas about why I chose them and what I think we want to get out of them. And then also today I'm going to talk a bit about our first main assignment, which is due in early October. So for this week, the readings are, the topic is the Introduction to History, the nature of different perspectives, arguments, and methods of presenting history. And all these readings are on your NICA site. The first reading is a short one-page document that I wrote called Tips for Reading History, which just sort of gives you some tips on sort of how to think about reading history, which is somewhat different than reading fiction or other kinds of literature. And then secondly, you want to read these next two articles together, the piece by Howard Zinn, Objections to Objectivity, and Terry Epstein's piece called Multiculturalism and the Politics of History. These are really fantastic articles, particularly the Howard Zinn piece. Howard Zinn was a very noted radical historian, radical in that he both wrote about the history of labor and the American left, the American leftist politics, but he also thought in very different ways about how to think about history. And so he adds a political aspect to reading history, but it's political in a very broad sense in that it's sort of how do we think about who writes history, who tells this story, and what is the approach that they take when they're telling that story. And then Terry Epstein does the same thing in a journal designed for educators, and so she's thinking about the politics of the history of multicultural education. So read those two pieces together, and then Epstein introduces the idea of poetry, and so I then ask you to read four inaugural poems that were given at the inauguration of American presidents. And the most recent one, Richard Blanco's poem that he read at President Obama's second inauguration in 2013, I think I have a link to his actual reading of it, which is really nice. He's a great reader, and it's fun to hear poetry as well as to read it. So read those pieces, and then go to the discussion forum, and I ask you two questions about the readings to consider on the discussion forum. Also there, I have included the rubric for the discussion forum, and you might take a look at that and sort of get it. Then you can get a sense of what I'm looking for in discussion forums and how we want those discussion practices to happen. So that's what's going on this week. All these materials are due next week, which is Wednesday, September 10th. The second thing I want to talk about today is our first major assignment, which is called A Picture Says 1,000 Words. And A Picture Says 1,000 Words looks at visual imagery in history and how we interpret visual imagery in historical analysis. That's the one thing that it's about. It's a paired assignment, so I want you to get into pairs to do this. We can do this in two ways. One, if you have a friend in the class who you want to work with on this assignment, pick that person and then email me individually and let me know. If you don't know anybody in the class, I can just match you with somebody. I'll give you a week, so by next week, September 10th, either email me with someone who you would like to work with, or I will match you up with somebody else. But what you all have to do is go to the assignment, A Picture Says 1,000 Words, which is on the Assignments 2 link, Assignments 2 number. It's on the left-hand side of the NICA site, and when you go there, you'll read the assignment and see how it works, and at the bottom of that posting, you'll see links to about 10 images. Pictures, photographs, and paintings from American history, and take a look at those images, and if you choose one, if there's one that you really like that you would like to analyze, email me and let me know. So by next week, let me know if you have a partner who you want to work with, what image you might be interested in working on. If you don't write me anything, which is fine, I'll just match you up with somebody and with a picture by next Wednesday. Last thing is to remind you all that we are meeting on Monday, September 29th at 7 p.m. at the Voice of America site. And I know that there are a couple of you, about 5 of you, who cannot meet on that site. And so this week I'll be contacting you and letting you, and trying to work out an alternative meeting where we can get together. So that's it for now. Again, email me with any questions or concerns or thoughts that you have. Remember to put in the subject heading EDL 629 so I can identify you. Hope's all well. I look forward to hearing from you virtually and in person. Bye.